Hello, welcome to the Leafs Win, Lose, or Cry podcast. We're going to get right into it. We're going to start with Calgary. 2-1 overtime win. James, take us away.
It was a fantastic game.
It was.
That one reminded me kind of the way they played against Boston. I was happy with the performance through and through. I think that game, as close as it was a 1-1 game throughout, it easily could have been a 4-4 game all throughout. Right? Like, I think Campbell and... Oh, help me out here, Chase. What was their goalie's name? I forget it now.
Oh, Calgary, Daniel Vladar.
Vladar. Oh my goodness, the guy was incredible.
He lights out.
He was incredible. And you know what it reminded me of, Brandon, is at the beginning of the season, you made a comment to me, and you said, at what point can we say, at what point do we stop saying, oh, well, the other team's goalie played incredible?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what we said about the New York Islanders. We said, oh, the Leafs played good, but...
We got goalied.
Yeah, sorry, not the Islanders, the Rangers. Yeah, but the goalies. And we said that about a couple teams right off the start. This game, that statement stands, though. Like, what an incredible game Vladar played. Overall, the team looked really good. So did Calgary, though. I mean, it was a well-fought game. And I think in the playoffs, that could be a really fun matchup if both teams make it that far. I mean, both teams have the offensive ability, but we can see by watching that game, they can shut it down as well. And the goalies were the biggest highlights of that game.
Yeah. It was good playoff hockey. Felt like playoff hockey to me.
It wasn't as rough as playoff hockey, but I mean, the speed of it, yes.
Yeah,
the
intensity.
It was a constant back and forth game. And like I said, it kind of reminded me of the game we played against Boston. Right? It was a tough fought game, and they did well. And then, I mean, Matthews to end the game with that shot. It was just the perfect way to end the game, right? So, and I think, Chase, you actually mentioned it to me about the 5-hole, right? He came down the breakaway on the 5-hole, saw the one pad drop a little slower, and the next time the puck's on his stick, he put it in that same spot. And he did it for a reason, right? He was able to see that the puck... or that pad dropped slower, and he's able to slide the puck in there. So I don't think that was a fluke that he shot 5-hole again and just beat the goalie that time.
Yo, man, it was a beautiful shot.
And it was. Like, it's a nice quick release, but when you're a shooter like Matthews and you see a goalie, literally, what was it, about 2 minutes before that, you get a great opportunity. He stops you from going 5-hole, but you still see both times that I think it would have been, if you're watching on TV, it would have been his left leg. It comes down a little slower, and that's usually one of the things when you're about a 6'5" goalie like Vladar, is getting down and closing that 5-hole. It takes a little longer because of how tall you are. So Matthews took full advantage of it on the next opportunity. He did not waste it, but you can see right when it goes through, Vladar looks up to the sky like, oh, shit, I should have had that one. And it's true.
Yeah.
All goalies have been there. Like, you know you have the angle, you got him beat, but then it just squeaks through and you just feel bad. But at the same time, too, he did everything he could to keep the Flames in there, and he just didn't get the goal support. Because when it doesn't matter how well a goalie plays, if your team can't get more than one goal, you're not going to win many hockey games that way. Even if the goalie or the team you're playing against is playing wicked, you still need to get more than one goal in hockey nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Chase, you know what I got to say? I love having you on this podcast as a goalie because I see it, and James, correct me if I'm wrong, but you might see it the same way as I do. I'm looking at the shot, and I'm not really thinking the goalie's mindset. I'm just like, oh, man, it was a beautifully placed shot, 5-hole, didn't have a chance on that one. Great. I don't even think about any of that, right?
Not at all. Right? I see the game from a defensive standpoint. So when especially when the Leafs let something in, I'm like, how could the defense have played that differently, right?
Because you're a D-man.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and that's kind of how I see the game from a defensive standpoint. But on that one, I was like, wow, Matthews beat the goaltender. End of story. Not well, he could see one pad dropping a little slower than the other, and like I said, if Chase hadn't mentioned that, I would have been like, oh, okay, he went for the breakaway, didn't score it, went to the bench, got back on the ice, took a shot, and scored.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have realized he tried to aim for the exact same spot, both attempts, for a reason.
No,
I wouldn't have picked up on that.
I'm just like hockey Gronk brain, just like, oh, good goal. Good goal.
Kind of, yeah.
Right?
Like,
I was just mostly like yelling.
it was. I actually sent. I think it was my brother. As soon as Matthews came down and missed that, I was like, Matthews sucks. We don't need him. And like 30 seconds later, or like a minute later, he comes down, scores. I was like, all right, maybe he ain't that bad.
Man, was it right before that or a little bit before that? Matthews broke his stick on a break. It was the shot.
It was that breakaway.
Yeah, it was the breakaway. He broke his stick on it because I thought the same. I'm like, oh man, that was a kind of a shitty shot. Because I've said a couple of times, like I think I said it last week. Matthews, like he looks great, but it looks like he's missing stuff that he normally wouldn't. I thought the same there until I realized, oh shit, he just broke his stick. No, you're not.
No, Matthews is back 100%.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Like, I got nothing else to add about that Calgary game. I thought it was a great game. Kashe. I found out it's Kashe. Kasha. Oh, okay.
Kasha, like Porsche.
Okay, I was at the game last night and they pronounced it both ways. Yeah. But yeah, Kasha looked great. He had a nice tip goal, so I'm thinking he's looking good. I thought at the beginning of the year I wasn't the biggest fan of the whole Bunting, Kasha, Camp, and Ritchie, and we'll get to some of those later. But Bunting, Kasha, and Camp have all looked great. Like Kasha took a little bit, but he's looking really good the last couple of games. I'm thinking.
Kasha, he's looking very good lately. And what I really like about him is the fact that he's playing with Camp, and I'll touch on that in a second.
Yeah.
But the way that he's playing, Camp's able to win those defensive draws, and even in that game specifically against Calgary, Camp actually lost the draw, and as it was on the way back to the D-man, Kasha was able to jump up, tip the puck past the defenseman, get I wouldn't say breakaway, but it was close enough to it, down to their end. Camp almost got a scoring chance on it. They blew the whistle, and the Matthews line came right back out, which is what we want that line to do, right? We want them to take the draws in the face-off, in the defensive zone, give your top two lines a chance to rest, get the puck out, down to their end, take that line off, get another line on. Because like I said, I believe it was last week, they've only taken 9% of their face-offs in the offensive zone. I'm just going to read you this here real quick, because I saw this, and I couldn't believe it. But Kasha and Camp played together on the same line growing up.
Really?
They've been friends since they were young. They played on the same line until they were drafted to different teams in the NHL. And I was like, there's no way, like that's too good of a story, right? They're playing great now. There's no way this could be nice. So I went back, and sure enough, Czech Republic under 16 team, they're both on it. Under 17 team, both on it. Under 18 team, both on it. Like, and they've played together for many, many, many years.
That's
split up in the NHL, and now they're back together on the same line. And no wonder they're.
That's so cool. I love that.
Right? Like,
it's interesting to kind of hear that, because when Boston made that trade 2 or 3 years ago for Kasha, they sent a first in Danton Heinen over. This was the player they were kind of hoping to see, but the injury bug got him too soon when he got there. But it looks like he's kind of found that like little resurgence. Maybe it's because he's playing with his good buddy Kampf. Yeah. But either way, regardless if it's because he's playing with his good buddy Kampf or he's just healthy, that 1.25 he's making is looking like a solid deal.
It's either 1.25 or 1.5. But I mean, he's playing incredible so far this year. He's out there to play, he's out there to skate. And there was a moment in last night's game where I don't know exactly what happened, but he carried the puck down into the Preds end, took a shot on net, and then skated back, and like there was a big kerfuffle right in front of the net. Hall was down on top of Campbell, Kasha was there, but like after the whistle blew, they showed him, and he was out of breath, just dying. And I was like, wow, like this dude's tired. And they showed the replay of it, and I was like, I understand why.
Yeah.
He is 100% at all time.
Oh, yeah.
and he's fast. So
Camp, by the way,
nice.
makes 1.5. Kasha makes 1.25.
Well, okay.
Yeah, so that 1.25 contract right now is looking like a good for Andre Kosh.
So combined, they're just over Ritchie.
Should we? I don't want to talk about the fact that Kasha is up at the end of this year.
No, we're not going to talk.
I know.
It's starting to get into that one.
We'll
It's
talk
not.
about
You
it
know
later.
what?
Like later on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's play this year. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Do you guys want to move into the Buffalo game?
Yeah. Brandon, you want to start that one?
Sure. Now,
You want to start that one, Buffalo, Brandon? Come on, Buffalo. How'd Buffalo do, Brandon?
there was a little kerfuffle in this. Toronto won 5-4.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did.
Please
So,
remind me.
Is anyone else feeling hungry right now?
I know.
okay. So this is what happened, and I have a little rant about this. Okay, before I even get into the game. So
Sure thing.
I saw the commercial a couple days, like the Timbieb commercial. I owe James a box of Timbiebs.
You do, yes.
It was a win-win situation. If I lost the bet, the Leafs win the game. Whatever.
Why you never bet on the Leafs?
Except in the playoffs. But
No.
so what happened? So I saw this commercial for the Timbiebs thing, right? And I assume they're on sale now. They're not on sale until November 29th. Correct me if I'm wrong. When have you ever seen a food commercial, whether it be like Baconator or like a new McDonald's thing where it's just like, oh, the new double Big Mac coming next month? It's not a fucking Apple iPhone. Like, normally they say it's there until this time.
Yeah.
They don't say, oh, mark it on the calendar. The Timbiebs are coming. Is it like, am I going to try and order this thing on the 29th? And have it be like an Apple iPhone where people are sitting around the corner waiting for the Timbiebs. I can't get Timbiebs, so I have to go to the scalpers on Kijiji to get James a box of Timbiebs for like $100.
I don't think it's going to be
No,
that
it's not going to be that bad.
intense.
You don't know.
But I don't care. But I don't care if you're paying $100.
I owe you a
I'm
box of
getting them.
Timbiebs.
You gotta also think.
I don't even like the flavors they've announced, but I still want them.
Hey, that birthday cake waffle, I think, is going to be unreal.
Yeah, they sound
That's
great.
No, other than that one, the other ones don't sound
The
very good.
chocolate
at all.
white fudge sounds really good too.
I don't like fudge.
I know you don't.
Right, and then there's the other one, which I don't like at all.
There's like a cookie dough one or like a chocolate chip one. Like, they sound great.
I don't remember.
Fun. I'm just gonna send you a picture. I'm gonna send it to myself. Send you a picture and be like, "Here, you won the bet. I will eat them, or me and Chase will
No,
eat
no,
them."
no, no, no.
You
I want
also got to
one
realize though
What?
that
Go ahead.
Tim Hortons does not make everything in house anymore. They're made in a plant in Brantford,
Yeah.
and they are frozen
Yeah.
and they ship in. So people are going to want Timbiebs. So they're probably making this massive truckload of them and just sending them out on that date.
Absolutely.
Dude, you do realize the supply and demand stuff lately has been terrible. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys have tried to get a new like PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, but they're still not in stores a year later, and they are saying that they're predicting they're not going to be enough in stores until another year.
Well, I
Yeah.
bet you the
Like-
Timbiebs are still sitting in a container with the chips you need for the PS5
Probably.
somewhere in the coast.
Probably.
It's the chips, not the system itself.
It is the chips, but like,
Yeah.
come on, guys. Like,
Well, no, there's still cars sitting around that can't be sold.
yeah, it's true.
Right? Like it's not just Xbox and PlayStation. Like it's a huge industry.
Mm-hmm.
My new goalie pads were a month late because they were sitting in a stupid container.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's a whole other conversation. I can go deep into that conversation. I've
let's
read a
get back
lot
to
about it. I've listened a lot about it, but it's too much.
We should talk about it. Like, it's not like we have a specific topic we're supposed to talk about on this podcast,
Man,
right?
I
Like,
could
this is
go
free fun.
I can go on and on about the shipments and the shortages, and that there's containers sitting in countries that don't have enough product to ship out, so the containers are just sitting there, which has created a shortage of shipment containers, which means they can raise the price of those containers. It's also slowing down the ports. Like, I can keep going on and on.
I
But
could do an hour on Timbiebs.
yeah,
I haven't
like,
even had one yet.
What do you go ahead with Buffalo, Brand? What do you got for Buffalo?
Yeah, I got to go Buffalo.
Oh,
first.
oh yeah, hockey. So at least 1-5-4. Kasha had the most beautiful ugly goal I've ever seen. It was a complete accident. He didn't mean to do it, but but you know what? Goal's a goal.
No, It was no.
What
Are you
what?
talking about the one where he fanned on the shot?
Yeah, and it like somehow trickled in. The first goal.
Oh, the one that went underneath the
Yeah.
defenseman and somehow went
Yeah,
underneath
he was
Dell.
he pushed he was on the side of the
That
net.
was Camp, wasn't
That
it?
was Camp's goal.
Was it Camp?
That wasn't
Oh,
Kasha.
I must have written
Kasha had that nice short side
Ah.
shot.
Kasha,
no,
yeah,
sorry,
where the one
Camp.
where he fanned on it,
Yes.
got the puck again, and then absolutely put it right under the bar.
Yeah.
Camp is the one who put it like a snail
You're
under the
right.
player.
Yes, it was Camp. Sorry,
Oh.
I miswrote it. But yeah, Camp. That was. I loved it. It was such an. And did you see all the people online showing the Crosby goal alongside the Camp goal and like,
No.
which one's goal of the year? It was like a bunch of people on Twitter putting them side by side.
So I rewatched a highlight thing this past week, and in that goal was in it. And after rewatching it again, I have one question:
What?
why didn't the player just lay flat on the?
He didn't press LBRB. That's a
Like-
rookie move.
Honestly, 'cause if you
Yeah.
watch it again, he's actually got his arms under him and he's up on his elbows as if like he's about to start getting up, but he doesn't, and he just kind of hovers in a plank position close to the ice, and the puck just kind of trickles right under him. Like if he had just laid down, that would have never gone in.
I mean, you are playing
But-
Buffalo. Like
but
it's
he
a
just-
bunch of rookie guys that haven't been in the game long enough.
Yeah, but still, like, that's like a pee-wee or a bantam move. Is either you block it or you get the hell out of the way of the goalie so he can see it.
Yes, and they did neither of those.
did neither.
You could see it the minute it went underneath his defenseman, and he was looking around like, where did it go?
Yeah,
Well, look behind
I
you now.
felt bad for him because like Dell, was that his first NHL game?
No, Dell's been up and
No.
down
Okay.
before with San Jose.
Okay.
You're thinking Joseph Woll, our goalie that game. It was his first
Yeah,
NHL
no,
game.
I knew it was Wolves first. Because I knew Dell was a younger Dell. I just wasn't sure if it was his first. But like, I felt bad for him on that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
literally, it
Nothing you
looked
could do.
bad on him, but there's nothing you could do. The guy should have laid on the ice, and that's as simple as that. But on to the second goal, I believe it was. Cash had a beautiful goal.
Kasha had a
That
good
was the one
Yeah.
where he fanned on the first shot, got the puck, and then just absolutely buried it over the goalie's shoulder. It was stunning. It was a great goal.
beauty.
Yeah.
Did,
Other than that, though, I don't have a lot to say for that game.
I do have
Like,
one major thing I noticed. I'm not sure if you guys saw. Nylander got benched at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So
The
it was
second half, the third.
Yeah, so it was off of Darlene's goal, and if you watch the goal again, Nylander like you know how everyone used to say he's talented, but he couldn't get to the next level because when he was on, but when he was off, he was like just kind of going through the motion, and he hasn't been like that so long, and everyone's been loving him, but he did that on this play. He made no attempt to go after Darlene, to block the puck, to catch up, nothing. And I think this is just my opinion on it, because he was benched. That's not my opinion. He was benched for a while there. Maybe it's just keeping like, dude, you're better than this. You've gotten past this. Don't go back to your old ways. You're playing amazing. So I'm gonna bench you for that as like a little smack on the hand, just like, hey, you're past this. Don't do that. Because like he's been playing phenomenal, right?
He absolutely has.
So
been.
normally you wouldn't bench a guy who's been playing that good, but I think at that point they were winning the game before they almost lost the game to Buffalo. It was like when they had the 2-goal lead. It was 4-2, or it might have been 4-3 at that point. I can't remember
I
when.
think it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Darlene scored to tie the game 4-4.
Oh,
If I remember correctly.
okay.
If I remember correctly, I think Darlene scored.
I couldn't remember if it was 4-3 or the 4-4 goal.
Yeah,
When he got
I want to say he scored with like 12 or 13, 14 minutes left.
Yeah.
Like it was before the halfway point of the third, correctly.
Yeah, because Nylander got benched for most of the second half, most of the back half of the third period after that. And in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that was more of dude, you're playing great. Don't do this crap again. Like that was a lazy play.
It could be.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Or the other thing, though, too, is you have a player that isn't playing that well, that hot. If you bench someone like a Ritchie for making a bad play, it doesn't send any type of message to anybody on the team. But someone like Nylander, if he's not going to show the effort in critical moments like that, you have to send a message to your team saying, hey, listen, I get it that we're scoring goals. I get it that we're playing well. But if you're not going to keep up that intensity for the entire game, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But at least Keith knows it's not like a Tortorella where it's, okay, I'm going to bench you this game. I'm going to bench you the next game. I'm going to bench you again. I'm going to bench you now. Next game, I'm going to give you your ice time back, but you have to show me that you can do this for the entire 60 minutes.
It was more or less like a, hey, I saw that, don't do that again kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the words of the boys on Spitting Chicklets, it's a pee-pee slap and get your shit together.
And you know what? Hopefully that's all it is, right? Hopefully it's
a little
just
pee-pee slap.
He played a little lazy there.
I mean, he had a good game. Other than that, he had a good game. I feel it was just a really bad play there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's enough.
I do think the Leafs kind of let Wool down a bit in the back half of that game. Like, the first half of that game, it was just no contest. Like, the Buffalo couldn't do a thing. And then the back half, man, like, they just got lead. Like, you can't have two-goal leads. They were up 3-1 and they were up 4-2, and then let them evaporate against the worst team in the league. Second worst team in the league.
I wouldn't say they let him down. With this being Wall's first game, there was a couple that you could say that he could have played a little differently, but it's just a slight positioning thing. But I think it was either the third or fourth goal. It beats him right underneath the arm, but that's the perfect place shot. Like, you're 13 inches off the ice, you're around that blocker knee, so it's hard for really any goalie to get that. But there was just little mental lapses, but I wouldn't say they let him down. They played solid in front of him. They gave him an opportunity, but he also made a couple of big saves.
He did. I just felt defensively they didn't play as tight as they do when they play with Campbell in the back half. Like, I thought they played a little sloppy at the back half of that game.
But that's a confidence thing, though. They haven't played with Wall before. When you play with a goalie like Campbell, who's been out of his mind, you can relax. You're not overthinking. You're not gripping your stick too tight. You can jump up in the play because you know he's back there. So you're putting a little bit more, I would say pressure on yourself, but you're just trying to make sure you're helping the kid out as best as possible. But you're overthinking. So there might be times where they're over committing to a passing route, or they're trying to get the puck out so quick that it's not as strong of a shot, so it's hitting the boards or glass, but Buffalo can knock it down. So I think that was the biggest thing there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was just my opinion. It's what I saw, and again, I'm not a goalie. It's nice having you here to like have the goalie mindset.
Sorry, go ahead, Chase.
I want to apologize to one of our longtime listeners, first-time callers, James' brother Michael. I convinced him to take a bet on Matthew getting 5 shots in the game. I think he ended up with 3.
3, maybe 4. Yeah, couldn't even get 5 shots against Buffalo.
So Michael, when you listen, I'm sorry about that, and I'll get you back for it.
Yeah. So here's what I want to talk about, though. Is it a coincidence that the Maple Leafs won 5-4 against Buffalo and won 5-4 against the Red Wings? Both games, Campbell was not in net. Right? Chase was just saying something about confidence, right? How the team plays. Red Wings, they had the lead, they gave it up, right? Sabres, they had the lead, they gave it up. Both games they won, but both games were a 5-4 game where it should have been 5-2, 5-3 maybe.
You know what that says to me? That it says less about the goalie and more about the Leafs playing defense. It's like they're doing what they used to do, where it's like they're relying on awesome goaltending, and as soon as they don't have awesome goaltending, the goals go up. Like
I disagree with that. I think it's a team sport. Mm-hmm. It's a team game, and having one player can change the outlook of the game. With the mentality, like from the mentality side of things. Personally, as a defenseman, having a goaltender that I can trust, I can kind of cheat a little bit. I can go a little deeper into the zone. I can play a little more aggressive on the blue line. Whereas if I have a goalie I don't trust, I'm not playing offensively. Like I'm gonna hang back. I'm gonna be aggressive on the defensive side. So I think that the goalie is the one player really. Can you hear the dog behind me?
Oh, Oh, I can hear Austin a while.
Yeah, dog's going insane behind me. A goalie is the one player that can really change the mentality of a team.
Yeah. Oh, I fully agree. The other thing, though, too, though, like I saw during that game, was it is more of the mindset when you're playing a team like Buffalo or Detroit that isn't as strong as they have been in the past. It's one of those nights where you can almost sit back and relax.
So I keep laughing. It's my bad. All I hear is shit being thrown around.
Oh, he's goes. I think I just saw him in the corner running out there. Yeah. But no, like you become so more relaxed because you're like, okay, they're not that like. They start buying into the media, like, okay, they're not that good, and you see it through the stat lines, you see it through the games that they're playing, so you don't push yourself as much, and you don't feel that urgency. Okay, I got to go down and score, or I got to block pass, because you're thinking, okay, I can play this like I normally would, and like it just a different mindset when you're going up against teams where they're lower in the standings and you're higher. So you play to the level of game of that team you're playing against. I think that's where they sit with Buffalo, Detroit. If they went up against the Habs right now, I think just because when you're playing a weaker team, you play down to that level. When you're playing a tougher team, you play up to that level.
Yeah.
So it's a mental mindset that they just have to break.
Yeah, it just gets alarming when they, like you said, they play down to their level, and it's a thing that the Leafs have. Like you said, it's something they have to break because we've seen it time and time again, and I've said this before. They play amazing against strong teams and then shit against bad teams. And it's like you shouldn't be losing 7-1 to the Penguins when they have Noah Crosby or Malkin.
Okay, you gotta get past that. That was a fluke.
That was a freak thing.
Like that was a freak thing? Okay, yeah, because that's never, ever happened to the Leafs ever where they've done something that bad.
Do you want to bet on Saturday's game?
I'm just saying, like, anyone remember the Zamboni driver game?
Oh, boo-hoo, Brandon. That was a long time ago.
That was last year.
Done and over with.
Was it last year?
It's done and over with. It was 2 years ago.
Okay. It's done and over with until in less than a month from now there's another giant collapse. I'm just saying they have these weird collapses against bad teams. That makes no sense.
I don't think that kind of collapse will ever that won't happen again this year.
The 7-1?
Like a bad collapse against a bad team. Or you want to make that bet?
I disagree. It will.
It will. It happens.
Well, I don't remember like the big collapse like a 7-1 team, but there will be a collapse. But that's every team, though.
No, every team does it, though, Brandon. We just happen to watch. We just watch the Leafs, so we see it with the Leafs. I'm sure the Avs have games where they're blown out 6-1, 7-1.
But how often does it happen against a team with no players on it? Like
that's feedback already once this year by I forget the team, but I was ready to throw my jersey across my apartment.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like the Leafs happen. I feel like the Leafs do it more than most teams. Like
and they might, but
it's a mindset they have to get up. It's not a skill thing; it's a mindset thing, like Chase said.
Yeah.
You guys want to move on to Nashville?
Brandon?
Yeah.
The Buffalo Sabres beat the Lightning 5-1. Yeah. It happens to every team.
It does. I feel like it happens a lot more to the Leafs than most teams.
Penguins beat the Lightning 6-2.
With
that's this season.
With Crosby and everybody in the lineup?
Nope. Opening game. Season. So
it's just because you're a Leafs fan, it seems like it happens more often.
Like the Zamboni driver thing, that's different. Right? That was a once in a lifetime. Yes, we have to live with that. But the collapses to teams that are weak, it happens to every team. We just see it as league. And it happens frequently enough that it's something that we have to live with.
I know it happens to every team. I just respectfully disagree in the fact that I find the Leafs do it more often than other teams.
And they might. You are right, but it's something that happens to every team.
It does. It's just I find that the Leafs have a bad mindset when it comes to that kind of stuff, and if they go down, they like curl up into a ball. And we've seen they've seen it time. And again, it's not a skill thing; it's a mental thing, and they've gotten way better at it than they have the last since they drafted Matthews and everybody. Like it was bad. Like they would do it all the time. They'd be down 2 goals and they would collapse into a ball, but not so much now.
No, it's a different team now.
It is. It is a different team now. It's they just got to keep going and just got to nip that in the bud.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know why we're talking about that when we have 3 wins this week. But
I know.
but
Hey,
so I think we should go on to the last game, the Nashville game.
Okay. What do you got? What do you got to say about it?
Well, I was there last night,
Yeah.
and gotta say the soup chants were there.
Oh yeah.
I almost thought people were booing the whole time, but it was
Yeah.
just everyone soup like every time Campbell touched the puck. Just
Yeah.
it was great to first of all great to be in the building after 2 years of not
Yep.
going to a game, and just
Yep.
and I'd heard people saying like, oh yeah, he's soupy. Everyone chants soup when they go to a game, and I 100% thought everyone was like because there was a bunch of Preds fans up at the front and up in the back with us, and I thought he was getting booed. I'm like, no, that's way too loud. No, they're just yelling soup.
Yeah.
It was great. And he played again another shutout, 3rd shutout of the year. He's got 3 shutouts in 9 games.
Yep. Yeah, he's
Ridiculous.
if he can keep this up, he will be in the conversation for a Vezina trophy. I don't know if he'll win it, but I definitely think he is in the top 5 and in that conversation.
Yeah.
If he can keep playing the way he is. I mean, he only had 24 shots on net. Like, as well as he played, let's give credit where it's due. The Maple Leafs did a good job defensively. He did make a couple big saves, especially in the first minute or so. There was one real big save he made.
Yeah, the first
which
minute there was 2 massive things, and then it kind of settled down. But
I wouldn't say 2 massive. I'd say 1 for sure. There was 1 for sure. The other one was he had a shot on net in like the first 20, 30 seconds or so. And then, but then he made that one big cross crease save.
Yes.
But then after that, I don't think the Preds really had strong scoring chances.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I'm happy he got the shutout, right? Still 24 saves. But the Leafs also did a very good job of keeping the opportunities weak, like making sure that the Preds didn't have good opportunities to score, and even keeping the shots low. I mean, you look at the Buffalo game, the Sabres had 27 shots. The Flames had 31 shots, right? Preds only had 24. So they were able to keep that shot count down, which
at least played a good
always
defensive
helps.
game.
Yeah, they did.
They
played a good game overall.
I also really liked the power play scored 1 for 4, but I thought all 4 times they looked dangerous. Maybe 3 of 4. Maybe 3 of 4.
Okay. Chase, do you have anything to say about that?
Oh,
Because I haven't picked on the
Okay.
power play.
All right.
I think the power play is starting to warm up, which is good. There's still moments where they're overpassing,
Yes.
in my opinion. But again, like when you have that much talent, they're looking for that picture perfect opportunity. They're looking for the shot. They're looking for tap and backdoor. But no, overall, like I would say the power play has been pretty good. It's, as I said, it's really heating up. So, but just to quickly touch on the Campbell thing, right now I'd put him in the top 3 for the Vezina.
Yeah.
He's tied with league wins with 9. He's top in goals against with 1.68. He's technically third or second in save percentage, but it's only because Ville Husso only played 1 game and it was a shutout.
Yeah.
That doesn't really count.
No, I don't really count that, but he's good. And then even last night, like, he had that one big save.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of the saves he's been making are very positional. They're very. People will sit there and go, "Oh, well, they're boring," and okay, they're easy shots. They're not. It's just he's making them look easy because he's in position for them. It's a huge thing. But back to the whole power play thing. Like, yeah, no, like they're playing well, but I think they could be a little bit more efficient with their opportunities.
Absolutely. Okay, James,
So-
go ahead.
Well, to build on Chase, boring wins Stanley Cups. I will say that, right?
Yep.
Okay. Try me with this power play. I said it, I don't know how many games ago, that this is the turning point for the Leafs. They're going to turn it on here. They're going to get a whole bunch of wins. And what has happened
Nick
since
Ritchie.
then?
They've
What
gone
has happened since then?
9 for 10.
Yeah, so I was right about that, and I have a feeling that in the next 5 games, the Maple Leafs power play is dead.
You think it's going to be like the last couple of years where they just kind of everyone finds out what they do?
Brandon, I watched 3 separate power plays
Do
the
same thing.
second line do the exact same thing
Yeah.
3 times in a row.
Yeah.
The puck would circle or whatever. They'd get a shot on that. I like how they break in because they don't look for a pass. The puck makes its way around. It goes to the top right corner with Spets on the blue line. Spezza takes a slap pass. It comes across the middle where they find Bunting, who tries to redirect it and put it in the net.
Oh,
Right?
the good old bumper spot.
It worked. I'm gonna beat myself up because I don't know what game it was. It worked earlier this season. It may have been.
I think it was the Flyers game, wasn't it?
Was it the Flyers game? It could have been. I don't remember. It was recent though. It was recent.
I think
They were
right.
using Ritchie in the bumper spot on the first power play.
No. So when last time it happened, Ritchie stood in front of the net and caused a screen. Spezza took the shot from the point, but it was more of like a slap pass. And
Detroit.
Bunting.
We were
Detroit.
at Brandon's house.
Thank you. I knew it was recent, and then Bunting redirected the slap pass from Spezza in. Last night, I watched the same play happen 3 times on 3 separate passes. And then you go to the first line. Yes, they have Matthews, and he had an absolutely incredible power play goal last night.
Yeah.
That, I don't care what goalie was in net, they weren't stopping it.
No, not a chance.
It was right in that sweet spot, 12 to 13 inches off the ice, along the post, under the blocker, over the pad. Beautiful, beautiful shot. And the fact that he received it and shot it in the same motion is even better. Like it was an unstoppable goal in my opinion. But it's the same thing as you actually saw Matthews. I think he may have broke into the zone with the puck, dumped it or passed it, looped back to that position, and they got the puck across. All it's going to take is for a team's power or penalty kill coach to realize, okay, line 1, block Matthews in this spot right here, and line 2, block Bunting in that spot right there. Once you do those 2 things, those power plays are not working.
You're absolutely
that's
right.
how they produce.
That's what happened the last 2 years. They started off hot and then they died.
Yeah, and so my suggestion, which is going to sound insane, take those 2 power play units and mix them together.
They should.
Right? Like let's see Bunting with Matthews and Ritchie.
I mean,
right? And Nylander.
I mean, personally,
and
I
then
wouldn't put
and then
Ritchie
throw
up there.
Riley. Why not?
Because he's
Why not? You've got Matthews, who's got that incredible shot, right? Bunting can fight in front of the net and get the rebound.
Yeah.
Ritchie can stand in front of the net as a door and just screen everything.
He's a pylon, though. Like I guess it's okay for the power play to sit in the front of the net, but like I would rather put almost anyone up there instead of Ritchie at this point in the season.
I have
terrible.
my issues with Ritchie. I have my issues with Ritchie right now. Put Engvall there.
I would.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good
Put
idea.
Engvall and Bunting who can fight in the corners, and you let Riley, Nylander, and Matthews take the shots, and then on line 2 you swap it out, right? You have Marner and Tavares on that line with 3 other guys. Like, I think they need to switch up either switch up their tactics or switch up the line.
Absolutely.
Because I'll say it, within the next 5 games, that power play percentage that they're doing right now, it's going to go even worse than what it is.
Yeah, because I even thought last night, like I said, I thought the first line looked great and they were buzzing, but they were giving way too much time to that second line. Like I was up there watching it, and I was saying, I went with our friend Joel, and we were watching him. I'm like, has the second line, 2 of the 4 power plays, the second line had more time than the top power play unit, and we were really confused about that. We're like, why the hell do they have the second line out for so long?
Is that because there wasn't a whistle?
No, like there was.
Right?
So the one I'm thinking of was the 2 I'm thinking of that I remember. One in particular, the top line. Before the top line went out, like before the penalty, it was like I think the third line was out, so they started penalty. We'll put the top line out. Top line was out for about 50 seconds, and then the second pairing was out for the rest of the minute 10, and then however long it took them to change afterward. And they changed without a whistle or anything like that. But it was, I'm sitting there like, why are they getting so much time? And they had a whistle they could have changed I believe there was like 10 or 15 seconds left on the penalty, and they didn't change. And I'm like, we're talking to each other like, why aren't they changing? For like, I know it's 10 seconds left, but like put the top unit back on. And then another one, the second line was out for the start of it, and they were on for over a minute again. And then they put the top PP on. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, at least if you're gonna do that, do what you said. Put like one of your top guys, mix it up a little bit. You can't just have your like the second unit be the second unit with none of the superstars on it and give them more time than the top unit when the top unit's scoring. Like it didn't make sense to me.
It could be just Keefe and one of the spotters from up top in the booth saw that the second line was exposing more of the opportunities or more of the gaps that Nashville had. So at that point, you have to roll the better option.
I mean, I suppose.
I agree, though. But like when you have that much talent, you gotta use it.
I suppose, but like one of those happened after the Matthews power play goal. So wouldn't like they just scored one? Like obviously they're buzzing, and they were getting lots of chances.
It could easily be something that spotter saw up top, and they radioed down to the bench.
Yeah,
it could be one of those things.
I would have to watch like 5 minutes or 3 minutes leading up to that power play and see that power play to give an opinion.
Yeah, because we were like everyone in my area, like where I was sitting, everyone was talking about like why is the second unit out? Like everyone was saying it.
Yeah.
It didn't make much sense.
They like Jay said, they may have seen something and decided to go with them because the second line was producing chances.
They were, but if Matthews was buzzing all game, Matthews had just scored a power play goal. You should be giving him the time.
Yeah, but
like if they were struggling, then sure. But like if they just scored a goal, put them back
on that
out.
On that power play where they scored, they had one shot on net, I believe.
Sorry, you cut off there. Could you say that again?
The power play where Matthews scored. Yeah. I believe they only had one shot on net for that power play. The power play only had one shot on net for the second power play. Like they weren't producing chances.
Fair. Yeah, they're skating around.
I'm speculating there. I don't actually know I have to go back and see to give an honest opinion. But it could just be that the second line was getting the puck to the net more frequently, and that's why they decided to keep them out. I mean, or it could have been. It could have been why throw out a top line like that if the whistle's going to blow and now you got two lines of tired guys and now we're playing on the third line.
Fair.
Right? Because think that first power play line, it's your top two guys from your first line, your top two guys from your second line. You get them out there, they're both tired. Now you're throwing the third line in a potential offensive opportunity.
Fair.
Right? So there's a lot of things that could have gone into it.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm not saying the second unit was bad. They did look good last night. They just nothing went in. They had a couple of close calls.
With Bunting trying to redirect it.
If you guys had watched, did you guys watch the game last night?
Yeah.
Did you not? Did you guys see Matthews like puck defy the laws of physics and not go in the net? The disallowed goal. It looked like it hit an invisible wall.
It wasn't a disallowed goal.
Well, I mean, they called it a goal on the ice and then they disallowed it. Like it clearly wasn't a goal. Obviously.
No, it was not a goal.
But I'm just saying the fact, like the way it bounced was weird.
It hit the crossbar, did it not? It
hit the crossbar.
Straight
went down, stopped at the line, and then went back out.
Yeah, well, look at Riley's goal against Buffalo.
Oh, I know. We got both sides of the coin.
Yeah, and that's when you get a shot that hits the crossbar and goes straight. It's gonna go one of two ways. Matthews went out, Riley's went in.
It was weird. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, it's like really weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it defied physics though. I'd just say one time we got lucky, one time we didn't.
That's fair.
But one thing I will add to that was there was puck luck for Nashville, but that sprawling leg save that Saros does a full 360 turn and to get his foot over by the post, that it was absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
He somehow was able to locate it and kick it out. So
it was impressive.
That hurt my groin just watching him do the spin and lay out.
Oh, man. You know what? Sorry. On that note of sprawl, did you see Vasilevsky's save in the overtime game this past week?
No.
Is that the one
Oh,
where he goes cross crease and like the full splits?
yes. It was absolutely Brandon. You have to look it up.
Okay.
I forget what team it's against. It's in
Highway
overtime.
robbery. We're just leave it
Like
there.
cross crease and like because how tall is he? 6'6"?
He's a big dude.
I believe
Like,
he's 6'5". Let me take a quick look at that. Actually,
Absolute one leg's one way, one leg completely just sprawled across and made an incredible save, in which Tampa ends up skating down and scoring in overtime.
Do you
But
know?
it was
Do you remember who it was against?
off the top of my head I don't. Here, let me see. It was recent, I believe.
Oh, I think I found it 3 days
Panthers.
ago.
I think it was either Panthers or
Aaron
Hurricanes.
Ekblad in overtime.
I'm 43
Yeah,
and
Panthers.
never learned how to
Oh,
ride a
I'm
bike.
gonna
Okay.
watch
Think
this.
it's
Hold
too
on.
late to learn?
Yeah, it
You
was insane. While you watch that, did you see Chase? Did you see Jeff O'Neill in the second? Ritchie?
no. So that second remission, I was out. I was out at a work function, so I couldn't actually get to see the full game.
It was Ritchie played on the first line first of all, which is interesting to see that they put him back there. But he took that fight against whoever it was, and I thought it was a stupid fight. No, I'm not against fighting, but
No.
Matthews had just
had
had an
the
opportunity to
medium for it.
score. Marner, I think, almost had an opportunity to score. And then the puck's still in the offensive zone. They're still on the attack, and Ritchie starts fighting. And you actually saw, they showed a replay of it. Matthews, like, rolled his eyes as he skated to the bench. As if, like, he was fed up with it. And then later on, he takes that retaliation penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
and so
a lot of people are sick of Ritchie. Actually, in that game, they took him. I can't remember who tweeted it out, but they Keefe temporarily took him out of the forward lineup for a couple of shifts.
he definitely missed some after that fight. I don't think he played until the following period.
Yeah.
So for two of the follow-ups, they right now they're classifying Vasilevsky at 6'3".
Mhm.
I call bullshit. The guy's got to at least be 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, I thought he was bigger than that.
I watched it, by the way. Wow.
Right? Like, just absolute athleticism. It was insane, that save.
And Nick Ritchie fought Michael McCarron.
So then he takes that retaliation penalty, and Jeff O'Neill. Like, I like Ritchie. He's the kind of player that I like, right? But he made some good points, and he said, the coach can't trust a player who's out on the ice getting stupid penalties, right? Because he had the penalty the other game where he took the guy's helmet off his.
It threw
Like
it.
that-
And it wasn't even like you could have done it and dropped it and made it like, oh,
But he held it.
Yeah, he held it and threw it. Like he was like, oh, look
Like-
what I got. Idiot.
So he had that penalty, he had the retaliation penalty. The coach isn't going to be able to trust him. Eventually, the players are going to resent him, which we kind of saw that fight where Matthews kind of rolled his eyes, and you could tell he wasn't happy because the Leafs were on an offensive chance there. It could lead him to being benched or moved off the team.
Yep.
And the other question is, like, this Kyle Clifford trade, bringing him on the team, could that send Ritchie away? Could it either A, healthy scratch him, or B, could he get moved, right? It's $2.5 million salary cap. So, like, what's gonna if they don't move him? If they don't move him, he needs to smart.
Because like,
And like I
think
said,
of it this way.
Jeff O'Neill nailed it perfectly last time we talked.
Kyle Clifford brings everything that Ritchie brings. I feel better, and he makes $1 million as opposed to 2.5.
Yes.
Yes. I checked. Don't worry, it's on Clifford. I made sure.
Oh no.
Yeah. No, I
know
trust you.
That's accurate.
211 pounds.
To be honest, I think that Kyle Clifford trade at this point in his career is, I'll say the same thing I said about the signing with Ritchie. I think it's useless. In the sense, Clifford's not going to bring, it brings you some grit, some sandpaper, but he doesn't do anything for the overall team. Like, okay, he's going to be able to go out there and fight and maybe give a little bit more space to Marner or Matthews. But when you guys had Clifford, the last go around, I guess 2 years ago it would have been.
I liked him.
he did what he had to do, but it didn't add any value to the team.
But isn't exactly what he does exactly what Ritchie's doing, but for almost a third of the price? Isn't that all Ritchie does? He doesn't put up points. He's there to be a body that can get in front of the net and push people around. And at this point, he's doing that, but badly. Sorry?
Ritchie has a little bit more of an offensive upside.
I mean,
but
statistically
at the same time
before,
too,
yes, but he has not shown it this year.
Well, for Kyle Clifford, so far this year he's played 2 games. He has 1 assist, -1, but last year he played 50 games, 7 points and 30 pims. So
who was he playing for? I forget.
St. Louis.
It was St. Louis.
And then the last year he spent with the Leafs, because he got traded over there, was 16 games, 3 points, 23 pims. So if you wanted to be a tough guy, penalty minutes, I like that he's not taking too many penalty minutes.
Yeah.
But again, like the whole point, he was supposed to either help create room for Matthews and Marner, but you don't see that room being created even with Clifford in the lineup. So I guess the best option is now you can move Ritchie if you want, and then you gain another $1.5 million in cap space.
Yeah.
That's pretty much
what was
what
the
I
point
say.
of signing Ritchie at the beginning of the year?
We thought he'd be better. Like he's been playing. I think he's just not a fit for this team. Like he's taking dumb penalties. Like he's trying to play a bit more of a Gronk than he should be. Like he's like we said, dumb penalties. He's fighting, which I'm all for fighting. Like Simmons got into a fight last night too, and it was it was a good fight.
Kind of.
Yeah,
it wasn't
but
a
like
fight.
he took it at a good point, right? Like he was defending Spezza, who got hit into the boards, and it wasn't off like a good offensive chance or anything. That was a time to take a fight if you're going to take one. Whereas Ritchie's was a shitty, inopportune time, and a lot of his penalties have been like that. So if we're just going to trade Clifford for Ritchie, you're not losing an offensive talent, at least what I'm seeing. You're getting essentially the same player for a third of the price, and you know what? Like I'll take it. Like if it's a downgrade, I don't really see much of a downgrade.
I would have tried to trade Ritchie for Clifford straight up, in my opinion, because
not yet. Right? Keep in mind, keep him. Yeah, okay, but hold. Why get rid of a player right now if we don't? Right? Clifford's past waivers. He's in the minors. His salary's not going against the cap.
Which is nice.
Why get rid of Ritchie right now if you can hold him? What if in 3 games he pans out and starts putting up a point every other game?
Okay.
Or starts.
This goes back to what we said earlier.
Complete hypothetical.
Yeah, but this goes back to what we said about goalies and Marner earlier in the season. How long do you let them play bad before they're bad?
See, but he's not playing bad enough that he's costing us games, right? No. If he was costing us games, it's a different story. But he's not. And they can easily bury him on the 4th line and give him minutes.
Yeah.
Which they did do other than last night. Right? So in my opinion, and what do we give up for Clifford? Nothing?
Nothing. Future considerations. So nothing.
I don't even know what that means.
It could be a 7th round pick. It could be a low-end prospect.
It's nothing.
Okay. So realistically, we picked up a player for nothing and didn't have to give up anything. If things don't work out with Ritchie, we trade him or we drop him, right? Like at least Dubas, as long as we need to.
But you're saying if they don't pan out, like how long do you wait until you consider it not
trade deadline?
Out? You wait till the trade deadline to trade Nick Ritchie?
To hold on to Ritchie till then.
Potentially, yeah. Why not?
Because if he keeps putting up performances like this, he's not getting points. The trade value is just going to keep dropping.
You trade him right now, what's he going to get you?
Probably the same as what he's going to get.
There's a chance you can get something a little better out of him.
What happens?
I don't like him at all.
Yeah.
I don't think he's useful. He shouldn't be in the NHL because he brings nothing to the table for any team in the league right now. Unless it's Buffalo or when you want to hit the cap floor.
What would you be looking to get out of him though? I
would take
I just want the cap future considerations
right now.
You guys suck.
Well, James, think of it this way: like you say wait till the trade deadline, right? So and right now you could trade him and maybe get a 7th round pick, right? Just to say you got something. But what happens if in 2 weeks' time it's not being benched for part of a third period. He's being benched for games because he's
Then
playing.
then
He's just
you
playing,
dump him.
but then his trade value is just going lower and lower.
It
I don't
can't
see.
get much worse than okay. What if Brandon in 2 weeks he starts putting up an assist a game?
What if?
Exactly.
But it's a
So
lot
we
of
can't,
what ifs.
you can't just look at the what ifs. We start benching him and we're getting like.
But
you can't look at one side of the coin, not the other.
But
that's what I'm trying to say.
But I'm just basing it on what I've seen of him, and I don't see that
Yeah.
happening. That's like when we said earlier, like when I was saying trade Marner when he was absolute crap earlier this year. You said, what if he does this? And it's like, you know what, James, you're right, because we've seen it before. It could happen. With Ritchie, you say that, I'm like, I don't see it happening.
Okay, what if the Maple Leafs make it to the first round of the playoffs and get absolutely dummied and pushed around by a team and they have no one to stand up for them?
Oh, you mean like every year?
Okay, what do you do now? Isn't that why we got Nick Ritchie?
Yeah,
is
but
to give us some toughness, right?
Absolutely, but
We know Simmons is injury prone.
Mm-hmm.
We can't rely on him to play every game of the playoffs because he's going to get injured. So what if you had Ritchie and Simmons? Oh no, there goes Simmons. Let's bring up Clifford. Now we have 2 guys still that can carry the body. That is why you don't get rid of him yet, especially if you don't need to.
I agree, but $2.5 million, you get rid of him because what happens if, let's say we are in the playoffs and you have Nick Ritchie there for some toughness? What happens if if it's like a 5-4 game against Boston and he takes a stupid fighting penalty or a stupid roughing penalty or something at an inopportune time and it costs us a game?
What if Marner puts the puck over the glass and gets a delay game?
Oh, he probably will.
That's like you can't hold it up on what if he gets this bad penalty.
But you just said what if he goes half a point a game or assist a game.
And yeah, you know what? It will turn out well. But I'm trying to make is it's not worth getting rid of him yet for nothing. If we can get rid of him later for nothing, because if we get rid of him now and we're able to pick a player who can actually play on the line and benefit the team, then it's worth it. But what happens come the playoff team, or come the playoffs, which is realistically where it matters, we get pushed around every single year.
Yes.
Right now, we have 2 solid guys who are tough and strong. But look what happened last year. We had Foligno, we had Ritchie, Thornton. Foligno injured.
Yeah.
Or sorry, not Ritchie, Simmons. Sorry, I said Ritchie. Sorry, we had Foligno, Simmons, and Thornton as kind of big guys.
Yeah.
All 3 of which got injured.
Yeah.
At different times, but they were all injured. This year, we now have Simmons, again, who's playing fantastic and needs to get a goal. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
He deserves one. And we have Ritchie. So we have Simmons is older. He's got a history of getting injured. So why not get the young guy, put him in the minors, and if we need to bring him up, we can. And for now, we keep Ritchie. Because if you trade Ritchie, bring up Clifford, you gain $1.5 million. Get another tough guy who can hold the body. Like, who's out there to get? Who you signing? Who are you trading for?
You can get a guy that does exactly what Ritchie does for less than $2.5 million.
I agree. You probably can.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clifford is $1 million.
Yeah, so
but
I would get rid of Ritchie and just pick up a guy $1.5 million for a 1-year deal or something like that.
I wouldn't do it yet. I would hold on.
How much longer do you wait? I don't agree with trade deadline if he plays like this until the trade deadline.
I think the reason I say trade deadline right now because I don't know, right? If like you said, if over the next 2 weeks he's playing absolute trash, he's a healthy scratch, more games than he's playing, and he's on the 4th line, he still continues to make these stupid penalties, then yeah, you know what? Sorry, buddy, you got to go. But if we see an improvement on the penalty, he stops taking the dumb penalties, he stops getting in fights like this, then at that point, it's like, you know what? Maybe we keep him on for another week. Then maybe it's a week-by-week basis. Right? Like I'm not saying hold him no matter what till the trade deadline. I'm not saying 3 weeks, then he's gone. Like I want to say play him week by week.
See how it looks.
Keith has to look at him and say, look, these stupid penalties you're taking, they can't happen anymore. If they continue, there's going to be conflict. And if he continues taking them, he becomes a scratch. If he scratches too many games, then you drop him. You bring up Clifford, and you free up $1.5 million cap space.
There was a funny picture online of when he took the penalty. I think was it the fighting one or the other one? I can't remember. But he's staring daggers at the penalty box, and then right after that's when they benched him. Like they closed up on him, and he's just like, it was like,
Oh, really?
yeah, like he was pissed.
Wow. Yeah. Other than that, I have nothing to say about the Predators. It was a good game.
It was a good game.
Yeah. All right. Actually, you know what? Sorry. Last thing on that Preds game. Marner and Matthews playing together. Do we like it or not?
I mean, I think it's good to flip flop it, like, because we've seen Matthews and Nylander awesome together, Marner and Tavares awesome together, Matthews and Marner are awesome together. It wasn't working at the beginning of the year, so I'm glad they changed it. But you know what? If it works, so just if you change it up once in a while, I don't see a thing. Like if they start slowing down a little bit, you're like, okay, Marner, you go play with Tavares for a little bit, then shake it up a little bit. I mean, we know like either way it produces, and sometimes it goes dry, and then if it goes dry, flip it around. Like,
what do you think, Chase?
I honestly like the matchup of Slick Willie and Marner together over Marner and Matthews, because now it takes away, because Nylander's playing well. He's playing out of his shoes right now.
mm-hmm.
But the whole thing is when you put Marner and Matthews together, you have the two big names, two big contracts. But who does everyone pay more attention to between those two?
Marner.
Matthews.
Media's all over Matthews because
I'd say
he does this about his. Huh?
I was like critique wise, everyone's kind of still.
I mean
right
in general.
now they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just mean in general. Like the media is all over Matthews because he hangs out with Bieber. He's got that style everyone wants. He's the face of the franchise. Let's be honest. It's him.
Do you think he has the Timbiebs like before everybody else?
Oh, he's definitely got the Timbiebs machine in his house right now.
Lucky bastard.
But when you look at the two together, I think it's one of those things where he's almost got a chip on his shoulder. Where if he's with Matthews, he tries to do too much because he's trying to be like, hey, no, I'm still here. Where you drop him down and you put him with Willie Nylander, those two feed off.
Put him with Tavares.
I just mean like Marner and Nylander together. When those two are like, if they're on this same line together, those two are feeding off each other with the speed, and you have Tavares that's that kind of suave leader that can help calm them down, so that way it works together, and then Marner can play more freely, so there's not as much like, okay, well, I can do anything. You can't, because Matthews plays more of a center game, so he's got different skill sets, but Marner is now able to play his style of game because he is technically the bigger name on that line now.
Yeah.
So he can almost feel like the superstar with that, so he can do what he wants. So I think it's better to keep both those guys separated, so then they can play to their abilities and play how they want. And the Nylander feeds off it because Marner's more of a setup guy, so get into your shooting lane and let Marner get you the puck, and it's going to work out.
So then if you have Tavares and Marner on the same line, who do you put with Matthews?
Nylander.
Yeah,
sorry. You said Nylander and Marner on the same line. Who do you put with Matthews?
I think at that point you could put multiple different things with Matthews. He's shown that he doesn't need much help. He can control the game very well.
He needs someone to get the puck to him. That's all he needs.
He needs a Michael Bunting.
That's really because
look,
when
the guy goes in the corner to get the puck out.
Well, you look at the game. Look at last night's game with Marner and Matthews. All Marner did all game long was get the puck to Matthews. He had multiple chances to shoot the puck and like open, clear shooting lanes, yet he still passed the puck. Like the only thing he does when he plays with Matthews, that's why I like him with Tavares. Because I like to be able to see Marner shoot even 1 in 10 times he has possession. But when he's with Matthews, he does not.
Yeah,
he'll pass it 10 out of 10 times, which makes him way, way less of a threat because everybody knows Marner's not going to shoot the puck.
That kind of brings me back to the power play. Like when we said split it up and mix and match, the best thing they could do is put Marner on that second power play because when he's with Matthews, he refuses to shoot the puck.
Yeah, he just gives
Yeah.
it right over.
Yeah, so if you put Marner on that second PP unit, that'd be good. I don't think you should put them together on the power play because, like you said, he's just always looking for that pass to his detriment.
I'd put Marner and maybe Nylander on the second because Nylander's got the shot.
And you put
right.
And then who'd you put for the center on that line then? Because I'm assuming you'd put Tavares and Matthews on the top.
No, I'd keep Spezza.
Spezza on the yeah, he's good.
Yeah, keep Spezza there.
Yeah, that'd be pretty solid actually. I'd like to see that.
Right, it changes things up.
Mm-hmm.
One line I would like to see, and I know people will go against this just because he struggles in the face-off dot, but I think if you give him enough practice and you work with him on it, and it could work out because the way he's been playing, in my opinion, very well. I would like to see Kerfoot go between Marner and Nylander.
Interesting.
Yeah, Kerfoot's been playing real good.
He's been playing really good. I know he struggles in the face-off dot, and he did in Colorado, but so did JT Compher until this year because he put in a lot of work in the offseason, and now he's one of the strongest face-off guys on the squad. So I think if Kerfoot was to do that, because he gives a little bit more defensive liability with those two, and Marner Matthews could go wild, and Kerfoot showing that he can set up Nylander when he's on the ice for the short little times, or he can be a decent setup man. He's not afraid to go into the corner. So I think that if he works on the faceoff dot, I think that line could be something.
That'd be good.
It could be.
It all depends if Kerfoot can keep this confidence and keep pushing forward.
I hope he does because as expensive as he is, he's been looking really good.
You change your tone on him, bud?
Me?
Yeah.
I've been giving Kerfoot credit since the beginning of this year.
Didn't you? No,
that's Joel that just shits on him 24/7.
Not me.
I thought you were saying you didn't like Kerfoot.
No, go back and listen to all the podcasts. I've been bumping him up especially since that game since Ottawa where they won. I think it was 3-1 or whatever that win against Ottawa. That's when he really started shining for me, and I started. And he's been playing well since.
He's been playing very well.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
So overall, what do you got, Brandon?
I was gonna say, I think you were going to the same thing: win, lose, or cry.
Yeah, I'm going win.
I think it's an easy win.
Yeah, that's a win, especially when you take down Nashville, who James pointed out going into this game was second in the Central at the time.
They're third now. But going into last night's game, they were in second place. And
granted, I know they were on the back half of a double header, but you took down Calgary, who's been very strong in the so far this year.
They were also, if I'm correct, I believe they were also in second place. I think they've dropped now to third, but I think at the time of the game they were in second place.
So yeah, that's a huge win when you're able to take down two Western teams that are playing that well.
Yeah, both in second place.
Yep.
Right, because technically Leafs are in second place as well.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if they can take them down, let's keep it going.
Sir.
So I like the way they're playing there. Definitely a win throughout this past week.
Absolutely.
Let's move on to the league quickly. It's outside the league technically now. Dion Phaneuf announces his retirement yesterday. Any opinions on that? I mean, I personally liked him as a captain. I liked him as a player. He apologized for not saluting that game that they won. That season that they didn't salute. He did apologize for it.
When did he apologize for that? I didn't see that.
The press conference yesterday.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that.
Yeah, he did with the Maple Leafs. He did like a 10 or 12-minute press conference, and in that, one of the questions they asked about that, and he did apologize. Yeah, I captained the team. I should have taken responsibility on it. Not everyone was there to boo us. We owe it to our fans. We should have saluted. And he apologized for not doing it. So I did like hearing that.
That's good.
Yeah, he's currently living in LA, takes his daughter to school, and he's just living everyday life, and he wants to remain in the don't know what he's doing, but yeah.
You completely cut out there again.
Oh, well, I like Dion Phaneuf. That's all I said. He's doing well in
He's
life.
doing well.
Yeah.
Joel was telling me actually last night, our friend that went to the game with me. Apparently, his wife is a movie star. She was in a movie called Girl Next Door.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Oh,
that.
Girl Next Door. It's like her only movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I've never seen the movie.
Have you not seen it, Brandon?
No, I haven't seen it.
You should probably watch it.
Is it like a horror movie? Is it like a?
No, just watch it.
Is it just bad?
You should watch it too.
Oh, okay.
The girl,
Okay.
the girl next door.
All right.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
All right.
As long
Wouldn't
as you
say
say that. then
wouldn't
that's
say it's a
fine.
blockbuster great movie, but I would say it's worth.
All right.
So you're not saying if we were like, if this came out when we were like 15, we're not going to take the walk down to Blockbuster on the Friday night and rent it?
You might actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you might.
I am very interested to see what this movie is. I know nothing about it.
Yeah, you should see it though. So moving on from here, I've got three things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll touch on the Coyotes quickly, and then I want to talk about the Stanley Cup quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think let's start with how bad the Coyotes.
Oh Lord.
Okay, is there? I don't have much to say. I mean, the team is trying to lose. They currently have no future, and I think they have the most exciting offseason.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, I think the amount of draft picks that they have coming up in this next draft, and the little amount of players they have signed, they have a very exciting season.
All right.
So
Yeah.
I'm.
Do you want?
That's all I gotta say. They're doing bad.
Do you guys want to hear the draft picks for the Arizona Coyotes for the next draft? What they have?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So for this draft, they have 3 first-rounders. They have 5 second-rounders. They have a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, and that's it. So they have
Yeah,
they have 8 picks in the first 2 rounds.
yeah.
So the way I see that, though, is usually when a team stockpiles that many second-round picks, there is
They're moving
probably there's probably a player they're looking at that they want to bring in with Jacob Chikrin and Clayton Keller to start building a core.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't be surprised you see maybe 2, maybe 3 of those moved in a deal to bring. I can't speculate who they'd be targeting because right now that organization's
A mess.
trying to figure out their identity.
Yeah.
But
Because
right now I can summarize their offseason in one sentence, and that would be with the first overall pick, the Arizona Coyotes draft forward from the Kingston Frontenacs, Shane Wright. And
yes.
that's all we need to know.
That's and that with the amount of trades that they can make, they're going to be a team to watch in the offseason to see what they do.
Dude, it's
Well,
going to be
and
so fun. They only have 4 players signed after this year.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
draft this year for the entry draft, it's got some good talent in it too. So even if, let's say, they hold on to all 5 second rounders, they should, knock on wood for their sake, and hopefully their scouts are on the ball, they could run away with a solid depth pool of talent that, let's say, in 2 years, once they finally reached either NHL level or AHL, they could move them, and then they could be a scary team.
Mm-hmm.
It could- especially if Austin Matthews goes there.
Oh, and like in
Nice.
2.5 years? Oh Lord.
That's what I mean. So
If I'm
who
a
knows?
Leafs fan, I wouldn't necessarily focus on it right now, but as that contract's getting closer to the end, I'd be getting a little worried.
I'm getting a little.
It's something to talk about in a couple.
Yes.
I think next
All right,
year
so
is when
that's-
everyone's going to seriously start talking about it. When he's got 2 years left, or less than 2 years left.
It's not worth it at that point.
No, I say give it the 1 year mark.
Yeah,
When people start talking about it, I
Mhm.
think people
No,
will be
I-
talking about it next year.
I
Well,
just don't think it's worth it.
You know
I
what?
mean,
Depending on what they do in the playoffs this year, then people are going to talk about it. If they have a first round exit or worse, there's going to be heavy talks about it in the offseason.
maybe.
Because that's when
We'll see what
the
happens.
Leafs will have to make the Leafs are going to be making changes in the offseason anyway. They have to. But like if he's got 2 years left and Niederlayer's got 2 years left and they get another first round bust, like there's going to be
Things
some
have to
talks.
move.
There's gonna be
Yeah.
some big
Also,
talks.
too, that is 2.5 years away and a lot of speculation.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, off season when he's got 2 years left, and depending on what the Leafs do and all
Yeah,
this
then
stuff,
maybe.
like right now it's not worth talking about, but in like
Yeah.
8 months from now, it's gonna be talked about.
It
We
could be.
also don't
It
want to
could
look
be a
like
big talk.
squirrely-haired Unabombers spreading conspiracy theories left, right, and center. So let's
Yeah.
wait a little bit and get some more facts on this one.
Put our tinfoil
Yeah.
hats on.
Yeah, tinfoil hats. Let's get them going.
All right. So my next topic I've got here is looking at the standings. And I think we'll dive deeper next week. Could and is there a chance that the Stanley Cup could come to Canada this year? I don't care what team. Could the Stanley Cup come to a Canadian team? So before you answer that, amongst the 4 divisions in the Atlantic, Canadian teams in second place. The Central, there's a Canadian team in first place. And the Pacific, there's a Canadian team in second and third place. So there's Canadian teams in almost every division at the top. Is there a chance that the Stanley Cup could come to a Canadian team this year?
Do you want like a percentage? Do you want a yes or no answer?
Give me both. Like, yes or no, and what do you think?
I'm going to start with the percentage. I'm going to say there's 25% chance. And if there is a team that's going to be a Canadian and win it, it's going to come from the Pacific. As much as I would like to think the Jets could do it, I don't think they have the depth needed to make the full run.
Fair.
Does it come to Canada? From past experiences to see how everything kind of down the stretch, I'm going to say no. But I still think there's still a 25% chance.
Okay.
And with me saying it's coming from the Pacific, I think everyone can guess what team I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the Oilers.
And especially if they can get a starting goalie.
1,000%.
If they get
if it's the
a
one that
middle of
they're
the pack
tied to-
goalie,
Yeah.
No, it's got to be a starter with that team. Offensively based, it's got to be a starter.
yeah, but I'm just basically like they have no goaltending right now. If they get a middle pack like starter, like a starting goaltender, doesn't have to be a superstar.
When Mike Smith comes back, he is a middle of the pack starter, and he still won't be the goalie that takes him there.
No,
Not in a playoff run.
You need the goalie that they're tied to still heavily is Fleury. If they can get him,
they should.
He will take that team to the next level. However, there is still one goalie floating in free agency. That is still very odd.
Who?
Tuukka Rask. He wants to re-sign in Boston.
He's going to. If he signs, he's going to Boston.
Well, if Swayman and Omar keep playing solid, they don't need him.
Yeah,
Does Edmonton give him a full pitch and try to bring Tuukka up?
That'd be nice.
So what are, just to go off topic here real quick, what are the chances of Colorado making a possible run for the Stanley Cup? And what is the chances that they move Kemper at the deadline?
Do you want the honest? Do you want the homer opinion, or do you want the honest?
I want the honest opinion. He's $3.5 million. Contract's up this year.
Yeah.
I think it's dumb for them to move him, especially after trading for him, and they now have his rights. But I mean, realistically, if you're looking at goals, he's a top tier goaltender for not a lot of money, whose contract's up this year.
No way in hell they move Kemper.
I don't think so either.
No.
Because, and this is why I'm going to say, I think right now the Avs will still make the playoffs.
Yes.
But they're going to come in, I think it's going to be a 2 or 3 slot. They're not going to be in a 1 whatsoever.
No, not this year.
But
the amount of injuries, the amount of injuries that they keep accumulating as one player comes back, 2 or 3 go out. I'm okay with that if it's early in the season. This injury bug can leave the Avs by the trade deadline and then they're healthy. Yeah. That's good. If we can limp into a playoff spot, but then the playoffs hit and we're off to the races. The chance of them making the deep run and going for the Cup, I honestly don't think it's their year. Personally, no. I think this year it'll be the year they finally get past the second round. But I
Oh,
think that's it.
I don't think they will this year.
I honestly think they'll get past Aaron, but I think that's it. I think that's their
Okay.
ceiling this year. I think they need to address another scoring winger that can literally play second line. As much as I love Burakovsky, he's not the guy. He's
Okay.
too hot and cold. So
Okay.
that's just my opinion there. The defense is there, the goaltending's there. They just need that second line winger that they're missing. And then I think they're set.
That's yeah. I can see that. Well, Brandon, what about you? Canadian team Stanley Cup?
Man, I mean, I think we know the three teams that have a chance. It's Toronto, the Jets, and the Oilers. If Halibut
Calgary,
had a really rough, sorry,
Calgary, Oilers, Jets. Just saying.
Yeah, I'd
well,
say I'd put Calgary in that list
I
too.
put Calgary there, but I'm saying my top three are the Jets, Toronto, and the Oilers. Calgary's definitely up there, but like I say it's those top three guys. Because Jets have Halibut, which is the second, typically and normally he's probably the second to third best goalie in the league. He had a rough start, but he's back. He's getting back to where he should be, and they're already the top. They're already in the top of the Central. So if he keeps playing like he is, then they're going to be solid. Oilers. What else do I have to say other than McDavid and Draisaitl? They're just
Goaltending.
goaltending, yes, but if Chase, like, they're playing out of their minds right now. If, like, again, what Chase said, what we were talking about, if they can get like a Fleury, if they can get Fleury, because he wants to leave Chicago, like,
Yes.
he wants to leave so bad. If they can get Fleury or, like you said, Tuukka Rask, and they get some good goaltending, oh my god. Like,
Yep.
like you see McDavid and Draisaitl this year. I can't remember. I don't know if Draisaitl scored the other night or not, but he had like what 17 goals and 16 assists already.
Yeah,
Like
it's something like that.
insanity.
It is crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
McDavid's like I saw a thing. I watched McDavid talk about his goal, like that insane goal, about a week ago. And he's just like, oh, yeah, like, I was just doing my job. Like, I didn't like the look, so I skated back, and, I just did my thing. And I'm like, you just did your thing. Okay,
That
you
was
just casually went through an entire team. Whatever, man.
Walked through them, made it look easy.
And then Toronto, Jack Campbell's playing out of his mind right now. He looks like the best. He looks like the Vezina, a Vezina candidate, if not a Vezina winner this year. Like, if he plays the way he's playing unreal. Yep. Our defense is looking good. Our offense is clicking now. Like, the top four guys are going. The only thing I'm worried about with our team, with us, is that power play, like you were saying, James. If it does the same as they did the last 2 years, because they're very samey. They always try the same like two things, and if they don't switch it up at all, and our power play goes down the shitter again, that could be the difference between first round exit and second round.
Yeah, I totally agree.
One power play goal. That's all it could come down to.
Absolutely it is. And that's yeah, I think I completely agree with both of you guys. I think we can all agree Edmonton has the best chance if they can acquire better goaltending.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, they absolutely have the best chance. I would say the Leafs have the second best chance of winning it out of a Canadian team. I'm in love with this team that's on the ice right now.
Hey, I know you are, and you have full right to be, but for me, I put them as the fourth. I think Calgary would be the third, and Winnipeg is the second. But that, again, got to remember, I see it from an outside. I grew up in a non-Leafs household, non-Leafs family, so
yeah, that's fair.
The franchise, but I can't. It's hard for me to fully admit that they're that good.
Yeah.
I will say this: talking about Edmonton's goaltending, if you look at the goals against, Oilers have 47 goals against in 15 games. Jets, also 15 games, have 40 goals against, so seven less goals against. So that's a bit different. And then Toronto in 17 games, has 42 goals against. So I don't think Edmonton's definitely the worst of the three, but I don't think they're that far behind. And it might just be like they get a slightly better goaltender, and it could be...
they're not that far behind, but you got to realize playoff hockey is completely different.
Absolutely.
When Edmonton, they were same thing. They were tearing it up offensively last year going into the playoffs. They hit Winnipeg, and the minute they played a team that could stand up a little bit, play a little more physical, and get shots on net like Ehlers, Wheeler, Scheifele, you saw the weaknesses in Mike Smith, in Mikko Koskinen. And I can even go back to, was it 2018 when McCarr jumped on the scene? Colorado wasn't supposed to beat Calgary in the first round, and they swept them because Mike Smith fell apart when the chips were down. You go back to when he was in Arizona, they made a playoff run. He fell apart when the chips are down, so you can't rely on Smith to be the guy. Great regular season goalie. Playoffs, you need that proven guy that's done the run. So that's why I think the perfect fix for Edmonton, especially if they can get Chicago to hold on to a little bit of salary, is go out and get Fleury, and they become
100%.
a powerhouse.
100%. If they get Fleury, they are the favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, so I want to bring up one last thing here.
Shoot.
The Vegas Golden Knights. So I was listening to a podcast this week, the Chris Johnson Show, and they're talking about Eichel.
Yeah.
Jack Eichel walked in, had his surgery, walked out now. Like, he's up, he's moving. He's supposed to be skating, and I believe 3 weeks or so, he's supposed to be back on the ice skating. Recovery time is 3 to 5 months. Expected to be back hopefully for around March, more towards that 3-month marker.
Yep.
Do they have a chance to go far in the playoffs?
Yes. I'll just answer it now.
B, because think, they got a salary cap issue here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they trade Jack Eichel before the deadline?
No way.
It's an insane. I thought of this today when I was driving. It's an insane thought, but they have $10 million they now need to free up. They have a player who successfully got through the surgery. He's also training for the next couple weeks with the guy who rehabilitated McDavid back from his injury, right? So he's got the rehabilitation there. He's healthy. He's supposed to be back in 3 months. He's going to be on the ice playing. Think about what you could move Jack up. Now that he's had the surgery, he's back, he's playing well.
A healthy Jack
or potentially will be playing well. I'm not saying they will, and I highly, but Vegas Golden Knights front office has a history of not treating their players great, doing shady things behind their back. I mean, Fleury found out about his trade through Twitter, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right? So they've had a history of not caring about what their players think and not caring about what's best for them, just what's best for the organization. So imagine what you could get for a healthy Jack Eichel, especially later in the season when teams start getting ready for that playoff push.
Man, Vegas is just fun to watch.
They are.
I love having Vegas in this league.
And the possible what is it? The All-Star game is potentially going to be there, isn't it? Or it is going to be there? Yeah.
And they're doing some of the skills comps on the actual boardwalk.
Yeah. It's going to be sick.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
But that was kind of my one thought about the Vegas Golden Knights. Is they could do one of two things. They could A, move Jack Eichel and blow up the NHL world again, or they make a couple trades and now they have Jack Eichel back in March. Yeah. All the team needs to do is clinch the playoffs with him, and that they could be a dominant team.
How the hell do you thinking they don't move him? I mean, yeah, it's like if they keep him, how the hell do they make the salary cap work?
A lot. That's big
because
trades.
Their biggest guys have no movement clauses.
Well, okay, so I'm looking at it as well. So right now, in my mind, there's going to have to be a mixture of trades.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised you see William Karlsson traded because he's got a minimum no move, so we can make a list. I think it's up to 10 teams.
Mm-hmm.
That opens at 5.9.
Mm-hmm. It's half.
The other option is Evgeny Dadonov. He's got a minimum no movement clause, and he's making $5 million on the note. So if you move those two guys, you're in the clear.
But the problem is you also have what's his name?
You got You got Alec Martinez. You got Jeremy Marchessault right now that's not on the cap because of their injuries.
Same with Max Pacioretty.
No, Pacioretty's should be back in the loop.
He's still
Pretty sure
he's still on LTIR, $7 million.
Still on LTIR. Oh,
So,
yeah.
back to my original question:
They-
Do
they-
they
But
do
they're
they
gonna have
dump
to-
2 players
Oh yes.
and keep Eichel, or do they move Eichel? Because how many? I'd have to pull it up. What do their draft picks look like for the next 3 years?
They have.
Do they
this
have
year,
any?
This year they have a second. The Rangers third, 2 fifths, a sixth, and the seventh. They don't even have their. They don't have their own first this year.
Well, because he got traded to Buffalo.
Yeah,
Went to Buffalo.
conditional
Yeah.
first. So it's either.
But they won't.
Yeah, and next year they have their first conditional, depending.
Yeah.
They don't have their second. They have 2/3. Like, they don't have a lot of picks.
But you can move Eichel for a lot of picks.
You could,
But
I don't
but
know
this
if they want
trade-
picks right now.
No, trade was Vegas saying we're all in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
So that's why they're not going to move him. Now, the big thing for me, the big thing I look at is this is going to be very similar to what Pittsburgh ran into, kind of what the Leafs are somewhat doing, and then what Tampa's about to run into is now you're going to have all your salary tied up in your top 4, top 5 guys. Now you're going to have to look at your bottom 6, where you need, when you want to go deep in the playoff run, those are the guys you lean on for penalty kill, tough moments to give your top 6 guys a break. You're going to be rotating. It's going to be rotating carousel of guys making 750, 900, 800K, maybe $1 million. So now you're relying on that core to put all the goals in, and you're moving pieces. Yes, it worked for Pittsburgh in that double cup run in 2016 and 2017.
Yeah.
But now that's great. But now you're starting to see other teams, the way that they've built around and on like that era, those 2 years, other teams have caught on to that, and they're building more depth, and they're trying to work out the salary cap. Where when you go all in on guys like Eichel, that's wicked. Now you have probably arguably the best line in hockey when everyone's healthy.
Yeah.
But what do you have behind them? That's where they're going to run into that, because they're going to have to jettison if they lose a guy like William Karl, they're screwed.
Yeah.
If they lose a guy like Braden McNabb on the back end who makes 2.5, but he's in a package deal, now you are leaning on Zach Whitecloud, who, don't get me wrong, solid defenseman. He can't play the minutes that Braden McNabb can play. So they're going to have to think long and hard on who they move, because they're not moving Eichel. If they were to turn around and trade him, Vegas would be burnt down.
Yeah. I don't think they will. I was just saying it's a hypothetical.
Oh, I see where your mind's at, and I like the idea, but it won't happen.
I think something might be starting, because today they picked up Adam Brooks off of waivers. Now, why would you do that?
Because you're going to have to start loading your bottom 6 with guys that are very inexpensive.
He makes He's a center that makes $725. He can play 4th line center, no problem.
There you go.
So that shows that Steven Chandler could be out. Maybe William Karlsson, and Chandler moves up because he's extremely fast and he's got good hands. So there has to be moves made, because once you start getting guys like Pacioretty back in the lineup, Eichel comes back, you need that space, because you're not getting rid of Eichel now. You want that cup now, but honestly, I don't think they're going to be strong enough to go the entire way.
Time will tell. I don't know.
It's a hot take on my part, but let's we'll, when we get to playoff time, we'll go back to this podcast.
You know what? If they trade Eichel, podcast.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play it everywhere.
I will eat my shoe.
There you go.
We have it recorded. I want to see.
Yeah, exactly. Who called it first?
I can deep fry it, right?
Sure.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as it's deep fried, you can eat anything.
Yeah.
All right, we have for the Maple Leafs, back on topic here. We got 3 games this week.
We do.
Okay, Rangers again, Pittsburgh again, and then we got the Islanders on Sunday. So we got another back-to-back coming up this weekend. Real quick, Chase, what do you think?
Well, I got to make up some ground here because you went 3-0 with your picks last week.
No. I said they're gonna lose against Preds.
You did?
You did.
Yes, I
thought you switched it to saying 3-0.
No, I changed my mind. And second,
Okay. Well,
and so I went 2-1.
I think I was 0-3.
I don't know.
I think
I know.
I think I said
I was
2-1.
1-2 because I said they beat the Sabres.
There you go. Okay.
I said 2-1 because I said they'd lose to the Sabres.
Yeah.
So,
Do you need a minute, bud?
no, I'm going to go. They beat the Islanders.
Okay.
No, I'm going to change that.
Rangers?
They beat the Rangers. They beat the Pens. And just because I want to go out on the ledge and try to get something going here, I say the Islanders have the upset. My
Really?
boys Chara on the back end.
Oh, that's a good point. You never bet against Chara.
And also, too, Sorokin has been playing out of his mind lately.
Yeah,
even though the stat line doesn't show it.
I'll say they are still in last place. Brandon, what's your 3 picks on that?
I say the Rangers break their streak, and they beat the Pens and the Islanders. You have to win that Pens game, as to make up for that last time.
Yeah.
So I think they come out swinging, and they take the Pens for sure. I would like to say 3-0, but I doubt they're going to string together a 12-game win streak. So I'm going to say that they lose. I mean, I'm honestly flipping a coin here. I'm going to say
it's not a 12-game win streak. They did lose one.
Okay, well, 12 of
Get it right.
yeah, pretty damn. Was it 11-game win streak then?
No, they've won 9 in
10 games.
They've won 9 games in 10 games.
Yeah. When did they?
But they won 5 straight, lost 1, then won 4.
Okay.
Right, so they're 5-1-4. So
Okay.
right now they're on a 4-game win streak.
No, I think they lose to the Rangers, beat the Pens, beat the Islanders.
This is a tough one because they're coming off a hot game against the Predators.
Yeah.
And they're at home here. I think they take the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
I also think they take the Penguins.
Okay.
And I'm going with a loss to the Islanders.
Okay, so
and
you
the reason I'm
on the Chara bandwagon. Let's go.
The reason, yeah, you don't bet against Chara. A. And B, it's a back-to-back game, right? So they're playing Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, that's right.
So it's a Sunday game. It's an away game, so they're traveling from Toronto to New York, and the backup's going to be in net.
Joseph Wall will play that one
Is
for
it
sure.
is it Wool again?
I don't know, but it's not going to be Campbell. So
I didn't even see that it was a back.
That's why I'm going with the loss. And now, with that being said, I mean the Islanders have 12 points on the year. They're 5-6-2, and I mean the Penguins are 5-6-4. So both teams are not doing well.
But the Penguins have their squad back now. They had a rough.
Well, they're still. Yeah, but they're still out. Malkin's still out.
Yeah, but no, they have Crosby and like they have some of their guys back. At the beginning of the year, they had nobody.
Yeah, they don't have a full. They don't have a full team, but they do have.
They have Crosby.
Yeah.
So
I'm just gonna stick with what I said.
It is Joseph Wall that is expected to start against the Islanders. Varlamov is expected to start for the Islanders.
Ooh.
However, I still like my boy Varley.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Varley. I'll give that one. Yeah, so I think they're going win-win, lose. That's mine. And then that's all I've got for this week. I don't know about you guys.
I'm gonna go lose win-win still. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you still think you're gonna take those two?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Lose win-win. They're winning.
All right. We'll see what happens.
All right. So I think that's it, guys.
That's all I've got to say.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
All right then.
All right, so we got another 3 games next week. Look forward to hearing from us again. And next week, James, you still won't get your Timbiebs. It'll be 2 weeks from now.
It'll be the week after. I know. It's all right.
Do you want to eat them on the show? Do you want me to
Oh, absolutely.
Also send them to you on the 1st?
No, the day I can't do the first. We're doing the 30th.
Right. Okay.
30th.
Someone has an anniversary you've got to celebrate.
Yes, I do. It's also the Leafs versus Avs, so I gotta somehow squeak that in there.
Oh wait, the Leafs and Avs are on the Wednesday of your anniversary?
On the 1st, yeah.
Oh man.
They also they do play again. I forget where it was. December. Oh, that's December 1st. They play again January 8th.
Can you just tell Marty it's for work and you have to watch the game?
Honestly, I wish. I wish. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, they are, and it's at home too. It's 7:30 game.
I'll be watching the Avs win that one, and then I'll be traveling to Ottawa to see them on the following Saturday kick the crap out of the Sens. So it'll be 2 good games to watch.
That'll be fun. All right, guys.
All right.
That's it.
I have heard that we should start saying like, comment, and subscribe. As a reminder to everybody, we do have a Spotify page. Thank you for everybody who listens to us on YouTube. It was last week was our highest viewed video. Our Spotify still has 0 views, so I just want to make sure people know we have a Spotify. I was like, wow, look at the analytics on the YouTube. How's Spotify? Oh, 0.
We should do one of those things where at the end we go like, click this link, and then just start pointing at it.
Yeah, just look below Spotify. But watch the YouTube and then sync it to the Spotify on your phone and just get both, and then it'll be like echoey. It'll sound great, I swear. Just give it a shot. Go. Yeah. Anyway, guys, be sure to leave a comment. Please subscribe. It's gonna help us out a lot, and we'll see you guys next week.